While wandering through the woods, a lone wolf came across a hidden puppy nestled within the bushes. The wild wolf, touched by compassion for the vulnerable dog, decided to bring the pup into its pack. Little did the wolf anticipate the chain of events that would follow. Deep within the heart of the woods lay a cave where a female wolf found solace. Physically and emotionally unwell, she had endured years of heartache. Despite her and her mate's relentless efforts to have offspring, all their previous pups had met untimely demises. The first perished shortly after birth, while the others fell ill and could not survive beyond a few weeks. The grief of losing her offspring weighed heavily on her, and the mere thought of becoming a mother again filled her with fear. Her sorrow resonated throughout the pack, and other female wolves tried to console and support her. However, her mate, the alpha of the pack, suffered alongside her. As leaders and role models for the younger and weaker members of the pack, they yearned to experience parenthood together. Although he acted as a father figure to the pack, he yearned for offspring to call his own. There was nothing he desired more than having children to care for. Over time, the despondent female wolf lost all motivation. She lacked the energy to move and had lost her appetite entirely. For days, she lay still on the cave floor, growing thinner and weaker. In the animal kingdom, there exist creatures that form lifelong bonds. Wolves are among them, and their matehood is highly revered within packs, akin to human marriage. The essence of this bond is a commitment to stand by each other, come what may. One day, the alpha wolf decided to embark on a solitary stroll through the woods. Everyone else in the pack remained asleep, and the dawn was just breaking. He had been unable to find sleep and thus decided to explore the serene forest. His senses were acute, and every scent and sound registered with him. As he roamed the forest, he detected a faint sound, barely audible amid the rustling leaves. His sharp instincts allowed him to trace it to its source. Following the scent trail, he stumbled upon a small animal, a puppy. The little creature was curled up and whimpering. The alpha wolf, keenly aware that this was a canine but unlike any wolf he knew, could sense that it had been abandoned. The puppy's cries grew louder, expressing hunger and loneliness. Though wolves were renowned hunters feared by other forest inhabitants, they were not devoid of sensitivity and emotional intelligence. This alpha, known for his strength, was equally compassionate. Despite recognizing the differences between himself and the puppy, he couldn't fathom leaving it to fend for itself. Following his instincts, he gently lifted the puppy with his mouth and sprinted back to his pack. Upon returning, the first thing the alpha did was introduce the puppy to his mate. She was still unwell, and he hoped that the presence of the young animal would rekindle her maternal instincts. The wolf had decided to treat the dog as his own, but he also sought his mate's blessing. As the alpha wolf entered the cave carrying the puppy, his gaze was filled with longing as he looked at his mate. She lay on the ground, her back turned to the entrance. Placing the puppy beside her, the alpha wolf waited, and finally, the female wolf turned to look at him. When she spotted the baby animal, a spark of light ignited in her eyes. The pup was hungry, and even though she mourned the loss of her recent offspring, she was still able to nurse. With tiny paws, the dog crawled closer to the wolf, and the young pup began to feed. For the first time in a while, the female wolf looked content. It was hard to believe that a wolf bringing a dog puppy into the pack would have such a lasting impact on several wolves for years to come. Over the following year, the dog puppy was raised by the pack's alpha male and female. With practice, the dog honed his hunting skills, often joining his wolf father and leading the pack alongside him. As the pup grew older, the physical differences between him and the wolves became more apparent. However, within the pack, he was always treated as family. But everything changed when humans discovered the dog. During a hunting trip, the dog ventured a bit too far from the pack and stumbled upon a cabin. He was noticed by the cabin's inhabitants, and a teenage boy rushed out, embracing the dog. The boy assured the dog that he would take care of him, and from that day forward, the dog became part of a different family. Despite missing the pack, there was something in the dog's nature that drew him to stay with the humans. After all, they say that a dog is a man's best friend. The dog was given the name Akito on the day the teenage boy found him, and over time, Akito grew close not only to the boy but also to his family. The boy's father was surprised by Akito's hunting skills, especially in catching hares. While there was still mystery surrounding the dog's background, the father was impressed by the new pet's abilities. This led him to take Akito on a more challenging hunting trip to see how the dog would fare against larger animals. Accompanied by his son, they ventured into the woods, feeling a heightened tension in the air. The father was more focused than ever, and the boy was acutely aware of his surroundings. The usually quiet Akito remained utterly silent, his canine instincts on high alert. Suddenly, howls erupted around them, even though there were no animals in sight. A large gray wolf emerged from the trees, pouncing toward them. The boy screamed, and the father raised his gun, preparing to fire. Just as he was about to shoot, Akito positioned himself in front of the gun and barked first at the man, then at the wolf. Moments later, the wolf recognized Akito as the dog puppy he had saved long ago. He ran toward Akito, playfully tackling him. Another wolf appeared, followed by 3 young cubs. Since Akito's departure, the alpha's mate had given birth to healthy children. Lowering his gun, the man hugged his trembling son as they watched the heartwarming scene. Akito nuzzled his wolf parents and siblings before turning back to his human family. From that day on, the man abandoned hunting wolves and pledged to protect them until his last day. This story reminds us of the powerful bond that transcends species and the importance of compassion and understanding in our interactions with the natural world.